Folks, welcome back to Reality Check with Arvind Swaminathan. Yours truly. This one is the Adani Saga Part 2. But it has roots in the one just before that. The India takeover project. Now, it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. Now, I keep telling you, there's somebody in the background pulling the strings. And the name that comes to mind was the Rothschilds. This time, I will show you how and why. So, stay tuned and see all of this, because this one will be the final nail in this Adani Saga to put it to rest totally. Now, one thing's strange, you see, why did they pick on the Adani group? Modi, I can understand, I know why. Why? The BBC documentary to rake it all up? To discredit Modi. This is the CIA pattern. They've done this with numerous people before, like Mossadegh in Iran, Allende in Chile, Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi, and now Modi. Why Modi? Well, he's a strong man. He's not easily shaken. And he's done things for India which the whole world has been trying very hard to stop. And until about 8.5 years ago, they'd succeeded. The giant called India was asleep, fully asleep. Now Modi has come and shaken it all up and told that giant, okay, boys, wakey, wakey, time to get up and flex your muscles. And that's precisely what that giant is doing. Now the world doesn't like it. Why? India was a soft target. Now the opposition parties are really worried. Why? There are no terrorist attacks. There are no riots. There are no scams. Nothing. So what do? They rake up fake ones. How? Well, you remember the Congress Party and the Chinese Communist Party had signed an MOU in 2008. The Chinese have gone via the BBC to produce this documentary. Somebody else, probably the opposition from here, has sent somebody like Ravish Kumar to the Hindenburg group to do this. Bring out this report. Yes, a lot of people have sold. And I'm told from various sources that people, or those people aligned with the Hindenburg group, have cleaned up profits like 14,000 crore, with people selling their shares at low prices and somebody buying them at low prices, waiting for the market to come up and selling them off again. Now, what is the truth in that Hindenburg project? None. It's all innuendos. For instance, he's taking a comparison that US companies of similar size have made very low profits, or their value has gone up a very small amount. How has this one gone up? Now, that's no reason to call it a fake or cook books. No. The Indian market is not the same as American markets. Let me give you a slight clarification. 2020-21, there was a lockdown. The Sensex went down from about 39,000 to 28,000. It's a big drop. Nifty at that time went down from about 13,000 to 7,800. 2021, the lockdown was lifted. Sensex moved from 28,000 not to 39 or 40,000, but to 59, 60,000. Are you telling me the whole stock market was a fake? Nifty at 50 at that time moved up from 7,800 to the present 17 to 18,000. You saying all that was fixed? Does that mean that every piece of stock you bought is fixed? They're all scams. Don't tell me that, please, for heaven's sake. Because this is what Hindenburg is trying to do. That man should be hauled up and taken apart legally and be made to pay the Adani Group, because who are the people who have lost out? Retail investors are like you or I. Many people of this type have sold out. They were frightened, they were panic selling. But the large ones like the State Bank and the LIC have not. They stood firm. They've been rewarded. Or their faith has been rewarded. Now the main reason, what was the reasoning behind all this? It's not just that somebody wanted to make a killing. It was to destroy the very fabric of Indian industry, Indian banking and Indian insurance. Why? Supposing the State Bank had made a huge loss, people would have lost faith. There could have been a run on the State Bank. It would have crashed. Who would have bought it? Indians wouldn't. They wouldn't have the money. Similarly, the Life Insurance Corporation of India or the LIC. It is, you see, whereas the State Bank or SBI as we call it, has branches all over the place, in cities, towns, small towns, even in rural areas. The LIC concerns almost every one of us. Almost every Indian has at least one policy with them. Now you think every foreign insurance company would love to get their hands on this country and its people. You think 1.4 billion people, billion, not million. Do you have such a market in the US or anywhere else? No. They've been itching to get in here and they're not being allowed to do so. And with Modi around, it will not happen. That is why they want, well, what do I call him? A pappu or an idiot like Rahul Gandhi? I mean, you see him when he gets up to speak in Parliament. An absolutely vacant look on his face. Because he really doesn't know what he's saying or talking about. I mean, somebody has to tell him what to say, he says it and that's it. He doesn't understand it. So somebody like that you can manipulate and get him to do whatever you want, which is precisely what the Chinese want, which is precisely what the Americans want and the Europeans want. They don't want a strong person here who wants India to come up. Now, I'd said something about the Rothschild hand somewhere in the background. I'll come to that and I'll prove it this time. But something else first. You see, we used to think in the UPA government, Manmohan Singh sealed lips. He didn't know how to talk, or so we think. Until the day he came out and said, Muslims have the first right over all of India's assets. Huh? He talks? Good heavens. But that confirmed him as being an out-and-out congressman. Dyed-in-the-wool congressman. Why? Since 1947 and Nehru, every Congress government has been not just pro-Muslim, but pro-Muslim and anti-Hindu, which means they have been against 80% of the population of India. What would they ever do for Indians? Nothing. And believe me, they've done almost nothing. Whatever was done was more by accident than by design. Now we have a leadership that says, no, I'm afraid this is not good enough. We want things for India, for the people of India, which the rest of the world doesn't seem to like. Now Manmohan Singh, perhaps the only other thing he did, or tried to do, he said, we must restore the glory of Nalanda University, which in its heyday was the seat of learning throughout the world. Let's be quite clear on that. It had one hell of a following. It was known throughout the world in its time. Very good thought. Now, whom did he hire to do the job? A gentleman who was a Nobel laureate Mr. Amartya Sen. Big name. And he was given a carte blanche. For those who don't understand that, it means spend what you like, hire what you like, build what you like, no questions asked. You're not even accountable for the money you spend. Just go ahead and do it. That is what carte blanche means. And believe me, that's exactly what he did. One building was put up. There was less than 100 students, 6 or 7 faculty, 2 or 3 guest faculty. And the strange thing is, who were part of that faculty? Right at the top, you see one Upinder Singh. Why Singh? It should have been Kaur. That was Manmohan Singh's eldest daughter. Who were the guest faculty? The first one was Daman Singh, again Manmohan Singh's second daughter. The third one was another Singh, Manmohan Singh's third daughter. Now those last two never set a toenail in Nalanda, but they got all their salaries, their perks and everything else to the tune of a few crores. So did Upinder Singh. So he was not as clean as we all thought he was. Now, Amartya Sen spent 2,730 crores on this project, which is a huge amount. For what little we see there, couldn't have been more than 50 to 100 crores, if that. Now, how much of that went into Mr. Manmohan Singh's pocket or the Gandhi family pocket, either directly or through the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation, which was the same as putting it into the Gandhi family pocket? How much of it is here? How much of it is in the US? Because Mr. Manmohan Singh's daughters all live in the US. They don't live here. And for all we know, they have never been to India since that time. And yet, how many crores have they siphoned out? Now that we have got some sense of proportion or some idea of just how corrupt that UPA government was, we come back to who wants to take over this country. Remember what I said, Project Take Over India? Which was just before the Adani Saga Part 1, about 10 days ago. Who would love to take over the banking system? Not only banking, but also the insurance system, because the insurance system, the whole industry works alongside the banking sector. You cannot do without it. I'll give you one guess. Rothschilds? Remember the Rothschilds' main interest, banking. They have the controlling interest of the Federal Reserve Bank in the US. They own or control the Bank of International Settlements. Most of the foreign banks in this country are Rothschild owned. Plus, most of the Western European banks are Rothschild owned or Rothschild controlled. So for them, they would love to take over. I mean, this country has a banking system which could, how shall I put it, equal the combined reach of Western Europe and the USA. Put them together, and you still don't have more than 2/3 of what the population we have in India. You understand how huge this market is, both banking and insurance. Now, the other thing that the Rothschild family is so interested in is almost to be part of their blood. mining. The Rothschilds already have a 75 square kilometer concession in the Panna diamond mining area, which is strange because most only get 25 square kilometers. How did they get 75? Next, BP Oil bought over Krishna Godavari gas oil concessions from Mukesh Ambani. Now, BP Oil is owned by Rothschilds. Mining, well, it's an old story. Whether it's gold mines in South Africa or diamond mines, De Beers is only 19% or 15 to 19% owned by De Beers. The rest is owned by the Rothschilds. We come to know that. Zambian copper mines, Chilean copper mines, all Rothschilds. And this recent discovery of lithium in Jammu and Kashmir, the second largest deposits in the world, anywhere in the world. Thorium in Tamil Nadu, which is what Victoria Newland was so bothered about a couple of months ago. The amount of stuff there is for mining in this country. Coal and iron ore have been there for ages. India is probably one of the largest steel producers in the world. Basic raw material, iron ore, plentiful here. We even export some of it. Coal, other minerals, all over the place, marble, granite. So you see, the Rothschilds could go into almost the whole of India, every industry. Now you know why they want Adanis. And why now? This is something very few people know or understand. The land in Israel is not owned by the people of Israel. How many understand this? You see, Israel was given not to the Jews, but to the Rothschilds. If you look at the Balfour Declaration of 1917, November 1917, it will tell you the letter was addressed to the Rothschilds. They were given Palestine for a Jewish state. All the land given on which Israelis live is given to them on a long lease, not ownership. Let's remember that. That is why when Adani takes over Haifa port, they get so upset. Now you understand what this whole thing is about. And where does the Rothschild connection come in? Why are they so keen to take over? The key is not Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi or Manmohan Singh, but Amartya Sen. Anybody know his wife's name? Let me put it out. Before she married him, her name was Emma Georgina Rothschild, the daughter of Victor de Rothschild, 3rd Baron Rothschild. Now, Baron Rothschild or Victor Rothschild was recruited during World War II by MI5. For what? Bomb disposal? Disinformation? Espionage. After the war, he studied zoology, became a scientist. He was also the policy advisor to Margaret Thatcher. And he was also in touch with a gentleman known as Maclean. You remember the spy network in Britain, Burgess and Maclean? That one. And also Blunt, another one of that spy ring, who spied for the Soviet Union. Emma Rothschild's mother, Teresa Georgina Mayer, was also recruited by MI5 during World War II. And she worked as Victor Rothschild's assistant. What in? counterintelligence. So Emma Rothschild would know a great deal about such things. Espionage, disinformation, false information, starting rumors, doing this, that and the other, all sorts of things. She's also, in her own right, an economist and an economic historian. Now you understand where that feeling that kept haunting me from somewhere or other, that this is the Rothschild brand. That's what I remember, 1815. Nathan Rothschild, how he made millions in consoles. 1929, the Wall Street crash. Created by bankers. They make billions. Lehman Brothers crash 2008-9. Same thing. Now, why? Because they're into banking. All these wars they're behind. Why? It's these same banks which own the military-industrial complex, which is what has kept the American economy going since 1946. Now you understand why I kept thinking about the New World Order. This is why. There's somebody or something in the background pulling the strings. Here's the link. Now you understand Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi pulling the strings from behind Manmohan Singh. Why Sonia Gandhi is so quiet while Rahul Gandhi makes an idiot of himself in Parliament. You know, the brains is always in the background. There's always a front man. But they're not doing it particularly well because they keep getting found out. Now, the Rothschilds normally, you don't find them, except about 7 or 8 or 10 layers down the line. This is the first time. It's just the second layer. It comes up. All one has to do is dig a little. So please, folks, understand what's going on. Understand the name of the game. Now this, I told you, has been in the back of my mind for a long time. Finally, the evidence. So I'm not as mad or as stupid as you think. I hope you don't think I am an idiot. I'm not in the same class as Rahul Gandhi. Please. Now, the rest is up to you. Please spread this around as far as you can. To as many people as you can, ask them to spread it around too. Because this is what's going on. None of them want Modi because he's a strong person. They want a manipulative idiot here in charge. Just like Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, and Manmohan Singh, who really speaking have no brains to think for themselves. Please, think a little and don't let them take us over. This is my earnest prayer to you, if you like. Do not allow the world to be taken over completely. Because they can be a very nasty bunch. Okay, folks. Finally, I've given you the evidence. The rest is up to you. Like, subscribe, make this go viral if you can. Because as many people who should know must learn about this. If they don't, at least I've made the effort. The rest is up to you. Bye.